and welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Madisonville Marine. It is summer and the temperatures are scorching. Actually, they're not as scorching this week, but they're still hot. It's still summer. It's still pretty out on the lake. And that's where you want to be. But if you don't have the cash to go out and buy a brand new boat, that doesn't mean you can't get a boat. You can go to Madisonville Marine, check out their selection of used boats, fantastic used boats. You get guarantees with those as well. Bob Hodge bought a used boat from Madisonville Marine. How you like it?
G3, Yamaha engine, love it, fantastic service.
Very good. We didn't get a shot of you saying it, but very good. All right.
But they could hear me.
They could hear you at least. That's good. All right. I want to spend a lot of the day talking about UT's quarterback situation. I just want to start with the big one. We've hit on it in little pieces, but, the good Bobs, the bad Dobbs, which is going to be, he looked unstoppable against South Carolina in that second half. He looked darn good against Alabama in the second half when he came in there. Iowa was just an unbelievable performance. Then you look at Missouri and Vandy, and I think a lot of people forget the Missouri and Vandy performances. The offensive line in front of him wasn't as good, and he looked a lot like the quarterbacks you'd seen before. So my question is, if you had to put money on it right now, look at Chuck perk up. If you had to put money on it right now, which Josh Dobbs do you think you're going to see this year?
I'm going to put my money on we're going to see mostly the good Josh Dobbs. I think Missouri showed Vandy how to play against Josh Dobbs. How come Iowa decided not to use the same kind of strategy? I don't understand.
They had
but I
cinder
think
blocks on their feet.
his weapons around him should be better. I don't know about the offensive line being better, but I think he's got better weapons, which is going to take more away from the defense of being able to say, hey, we're coming up and we're going to stop this kid. So I think we're going to see, for the most part, good Josh Dobbs.
And let me go ahead and I forgot to introduce him. He needs no introduction. Jimmy Himes, host of Sports Talk down there from Sports Radio WNML.
Mostly the good Jimmy Himes.
The good Jimmy Himes. The good Jimmy Himes showed up, as opposed to the evil twin with the goatee. Jimmy, which Josh Dobbs are folks going to see this year?
I agree with Bob. I think it's going to be mostly the good Josh Dobbs. I think that, one, he's got a little bit more experience. There aren't many quarterbacks in the SEC that have more starts than Dobbs. Secondly, the two games that you refer to, Matt Crowder wasn't there. And I know he's not a great player, but I think he was among the leaders on that offensive line that could get everybody settled into the position and what they're supposed to do. But I like Kamara as an addition. I like the receivers, and I know last year they had a lot of injuries there. But Preston Williams has been terrific in preseason drills. Josh Smith has recovered from his broken ankle. And I just think that the supporting cast is there. Dobbs is really a smart guy. I think for the most part he's going to have a very good year.
All right.
Yeah, we've seen that heard how much he's been trying to improve on his fundamentals and his mechanics throwing the football, and I think that's going to be a key to this, how he can operate as a pocket passer without automatically trying to run to his right. And I think that's what you saw, these teams with really good defenses, good defensive linemen, they were able to take that away. South Carolina's like they had no defense.
Yeah, well.
Missouri had really good linemen, good athletic linebackers. So I think it's up to Josh to take that step with his own fundamentals and show he can be more accurate as a pocket passer, and then he'll be the great Josh Dobbs.
Mike Strange?
I think he will be, I expect a terrific year of good Josh Dobbs. I think maybe we ought to, again, take this opportunity to give Missouri credit for being a darn good defensive team. They've 2 years in a row, he's played against them, and they've given him problems.
Vanderbilt also gave him problems, though. Now they weren't that great defensively.
Hangover from the Missouri.
Okay, there you go. Now, let's take it further. Then everybody here thinks that Josh Dobbs is going to have a good year. Some of you think very big year. I think he'll have a good year. Do you think, talking about this cast around him, all right, you got a pair of really good running backs. Your offensive line's key, but it should be a little bit better. Receivers, I don't know that they're proven yet, but they certainly on paper look great. Your defense is expected to be stingy. Does he have the pieces around him to where he doesn't need to carry the team? Are the pieces around him good enough that he can just be a good quarterback rather than the transcendent guy we saw against South Carolina and against Iowa?
I think that's going to depend on how good his offensive line is. I think if Tennessee's offensive line is good enough to where you can establish a running game, he could be transcendent. But if that offensive line doesn't make enough push to where you got to run, and then people are going to be able to sit back and say, okay, he's got to throw, we're going to set our defense for that. So I think a lot of it depends on his offensive line, which I think is the biggest question mark for this team going forward.
Okay, so that would make me think that you're not ready to go there yet, that the pieces around him are good enough that
No, I don't think that.
You think you
that
still
hasn't
need-
been proven. I think the skill pieces are there. The linemen, I think, are the question.
Yeah, I
Will
mean,
Tennessee win games with a grade C Josh Dobbs?
It's fair to say the offensive line may be a year away. With as many new players and what they've got to work in there, you would think Josh Dobbs to carry the team may be a
Let
year
me
away.
simplify it.
But
Can
to
Josh
John-
Dobbs, or can Tennessee win games with Josh Dobbs having a C performance? Do you
I'm going
think?
to say no because I think, excuse me, I think a zone read quarterback is asked to do a lot more than some other quarterbacks. Like at Alabama, you could say that, but not with the offense that you run. So now, when you say win games, I'm assuming 7, 8, or 9,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm going to say no. I think he's got to play at a better level than that. I think most zone read quarterbacks have to, but in particular with Dobbs, I think he has to play better than that.
Good point, Mike.
I think it would be to not have him use his potential to the fullest would be diminishing the team because we've seen what he can do, and like Jimmy said, what they ask of that position.
Right. Well, I'm not
Take
saying
advantage of him,
I'm not-
riding hard.
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he doesn't have a great performance. If he doesn't have a great performance, I think you're still going to need Josh Dobbs to carry you some this year. That's what I'm
I agree.
Yes.
If
I
Josh
agree.
Dobbs is average, if he's C, you have a better chance of losing than you do winning.
Yeah,
If
agreed.
he's
All right.
if he's not a B plus or better, Tennessee doesn't go to a big time bowl game.
Okay, very good. Gotcha. Anybody else at the last second time killer? All right, here we go. When we come back, Josh Dobbs and the quarterbacks around him, and another star quarterback coming in. Should Vol fans be prepared to get on the hamster wheel of transfers coming up? Come on back on the Sports Horse.
From East Tennessee to the Carolinas, no job is too big for Benedict Construction. Patios and decks, custom remodels, even custom homes. With a reputation for excellence, rely on the custom work of Benedict Construction.